All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay. The headlines. Government reconstitutes 8 cabinet committees including those on security and economic affairs. Centre urges Delhi, Odisha, Telangana and West Bengal governments to join Ayushman Bharat scheme. RBI to announce its second bi-monthly monetary policy for current fiscal year today. Heat wave intensifies in several parts of the country after a brief respite. And in ICC Cricket World Cup, India beat South Africa by 6 wickets in the opening match at Southampton. The government has reconstituted 8 cabinet committees. These are Appointments Committee, Committees on Accommodation, Economic Affairs, Parliamentary Affairs, Political Affairs, Security, Investment and Growth, and Cabinet Committee on Employment and Skill Development. Cabinet Secretariat said in a press release that the Cabinet Committee on Security will have Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Home Minister Amit Shah, Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs Nirmala Sitharaman, and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. Appointments Committee of the Cabinet has Prime Minister Modi and Mr. Shah, while Cabinet Committee on Investment and Growth will have the Prime Minister and Ministers of Home, Road Transport and Highways, Finance and Corporate Affairs, and Railways and Commerce and Industry. The Centre has urged Odisha, Delhi, Telangana and West Bengal governments to join Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. In a letter written to the Chief Ministers of these states, Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said financial resources will be made available to the states with adequate flexibility in the spirit of cooperative federalism. He said 32 states and union territories have accepted the scheme, running successfully in providing financial protection to crores of people. Dr. Harshvardhan also spoke with Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. The minister said he will also speak to Chief Minister of Telangana, K. Chandrasekhar Rao. He said it is important that the benefits of the visionary scheme like Ayushman Bharat reaches all the deprived and vulnerable people in the country. Under the Health Protection Scheme, over 10.7 crore families from poor and vulnerable section will get the health cover of 5 lakh rupees annually for treatment. The Swachh Bharat initiative of the government has led to reduced groundwater contamination. A study by the UNICEF said the substantial reductions may potentially be attributed to the improvement in sanitation and hygiene practices. It said supportive systems such as regular monitoring and behavioral change messaging which have all been critical aspects of the Gramin Swachh Bharat mission, also help reduce groundwater contamination. Jal Shakti Minister Gajinder Singh Shekhawat praised the Swachh Bharat mission for bringing a reduction in groundwater contamination. In a release, Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation said rural sanitation coverage in the country had crossed the 99% mark. The mission is in the final stretch of its completion, with 30 states and union territories already having declared themselves free from open defecation. The Reserve Bank of India will announce its second bi-monthly monetary policy for current fiscal year in Mumbai this morning. The 3-day meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee began on Tuesday amid expectations of a third straight rate cut of 25 basis points. The key lending rate, or the repo rate, currently stands at 6%. Repo rate refers to the rate at which commercial banks borrow money from RBI in case of shortage of funds. More from a Mumbai correspondent.
It is believed that RBI has enough room to cut rates further as inflation has remained below the RBI's medium-term goal at 4%. The CPI inflation for April 2019 stood at 2.92%. The rate cut is also likely to revive the economy that is going through a slowdown. The only constraining factor for the Apex Bank could be the unwillingness of banks to pass on the rate cut benefits to customers. Sonali Garyar Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Indian Air Force has expanded its efforts to locate the AN-32 aircraft missing since Monday with 13 passengers on board. The Defence Ministry said search was intensified despite challenges posed by vegetation, inhospitable terrain and poor weather. However, supported by Army, Navy, Police and State Administration, the search efforts by ground teams and airborne sensors continued through the night. The operation by helicopters, which was called off in the night due to bad weather, will resume this morning. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held telephonic conversations with his French and Turkish counterparts yesterday. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar termed his conversation with French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian as cordial. He said he is looking forward to a successful strategic partnership with France. Dr. Jaishankar, during his conversation with Foreign Minister of Turkey, Mevlut Çavuşoğlu, said he looks forward to closely working with Turkey. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. After a brief respite, heat wave is again intensified in several parts of the country. Sweltering weather conditions prevail in the national capital, with mercury crossing the 42-degree mark in the city yesterday. The Met Department has forecast a thunderstorm today. In many parts of Punjab and Haryana also, heat wave conditions persisted, with Narnaul sizzling at 45.3 degrees Celsius, 3 notches above normal. According to Weather Office, there is a possibility of light rain in the two states by today. In Himachal Pradesh, highest temperature was recorded in Una at 43 degrees Celsius. In Uttar Pradesh, dry winds and high temperatures have intensified plight of people. Our correspondent has filed this report.
Banda was the hottest place at 47.2 degrees Celsius, followed by Jhansi at 47 degrees Celsius, both 5 degrees above normal. Agra reeled at 45.5 degrees Celsius. Allahabad recorded a high of 44.7 degrees Celsius. The Meteorological Department has issued a warning of dust storm or thunderstorm at isolated places over western Uttar Pradesh. According to weathermen, there will be no respite from torture temperature in next few days. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Odisha, Jharsuguda has become the hottest place in the state, recording 45.2 degrees Celsius. In Maharashtra, the highest temperature was recorded in Brahmpuri, where mercury reached 47.5 degrees Celsius. The government has urged people not to panic over the reported cases of Nipah virus in Kerala, as all efforts have been made to remedy the situation. The Union Health Minister said he is personally reviewing the situation with the State Health Minister K.K. Shelja. Dr. Harshvardhan said the central team reviewed the public measures taken by the Health Department of Kerala and interacted with district collectors of the affected districts. An official release said state health authorities have established isolation ward at Government Medical College at Ernakulam district in the state. Condition of one Nipah patient is stable and a total of 314 contacts have been followed up on daily basis. In international news, in Sudan, opposition activists have rejected an offer of talks from the country's military council, saying it cannot be trusted amid a violent crackdown on protesters that left over 100 dead in the capital Khartoum. On the other hand, deputy head of the military council defended violent suppression, claiming the protesters were infiltrated by rogue elements and drug dealers. Meanwhile, the United Nations said it is relocating some of its staff from Sudan. UN spokeswoman Eri Kaneko said non-program critical staff has been relocated while all operations continue in the country. A military council is controlling the country since pro-democracy protests in April led to the end of 30 years of authoritarian rule of President Omar al-Bashir. In Syria, at least 10 civilians were killed in airstrikes and shelling by regime forces in Idlib province. Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said 2 children were among the 6 people killed in the strikes in the town of Kafr Await, and the civilian died in shelling on the northern Hama countryside. According to the Monitor, a woman and her 2 children were also killed during airstrikes that hit a motorcycle in the town of Marat al-Numan. In Denmark, left-wing opposition bloc led by the Social Democrats has won the general elections of the country, leaving behind the ruling Liberal Party. Prime Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen conceded defeat yesterday after his party came second with 75 seats in the parliament as against the 91 seats of the Social Democrats. In Peru, President Martin Vizcarra won a confidence vote in the country's congresses yesterday, reviving debate over his flagging effort to pass anti-corruption measures. President Vizcarra, who succeeded former President Pedro Pablo a year ago, won by 77 votes to 44 with 3 abstentions. Vizcarra had threatened to dissolve the parliament and force new elections unless lawmakers backed his anti-graft proposals. Pedro Pablo stepped down last year following allegations of bribe-taking as part of the continent-wide Odebrecht corruption scandal that embroiled 3 other Peruvian former presidents. In ICC Cricket World Cup, India defeated South Africa by 6 wickets in the opening match at Southampton in England. We have a report.
Team India began their campaign with a bang, handing yet another defeat to the Proteas in the current World Cup. Men in blue achieved the target of 228 runs with 15 balls to spare. Opener Rohit Sharma hit a blistering unbeaten 122, while Mahendra Singh Dhoni contributed important 34 runs. Rohit was adjudged man of the match. Earlier, India restricted South Africa at 227 for 9 in the stipulated 50 overs after put to field. Indian leg spinner Yuzvendra Chahal grabbed 4 wickets. For Proteas, Chris Morris was the highest scorer at 42. In the second match of the day, New Zealand defeated Bangladesh by 2 wickets in a thrilling encounter at Oval in London. Chasing 245 for victory, New Zealand overhauled the target for 8 wickets with 17 balls to spare. Player of the match, Ross Taylor, scored 82 runs. Earlier put into bat, Bangladesh were bundled out for 244 in 49.2 overs. Today, Australia will take on West Indies at Nottingham. The match will begin at 3 p.m. This is Lalema Aneja Dang, Sports Desk.
Men's International Hockey Federation FIH Series Finals event is beginning in Bhubaneswar from today. Poland, Russia, Uzbekistan, South Africa, Japan, USA, Mexico, including host country India, will battle it out for 2 places in the FIH Olympic qualifiers scheduled to be held in October-November later this year. First match will be played between South Africa and the US at 8:45 this morning. The second match will be held between Poland and Uzbekistan at 5 p.m. 8-time champions India start its campaign against Russia at 7 in the evening. After the match against Russia, India will face Poland on Friday before taking on Uzbekistan in the final Pool A game on June 10th. The morning matches will be open for public, whereas afternoon matches will have tickets and the profits will be donated to Chief Minister's Relief Fund. Sunil Chhetri has become the most capped Indian player by surpassing Baichung Bhutia's 107 international matches. In his milestone match of the Kings Cup football tournament at Buriram in Thailand yesterday, he scored the lone goal for his side in the 31st minute from a spot kick for his 69th goal. His effort, however, did not make any difference as India, ranked 101, lost 1-3 to higher-ranked Curaçao. India will play the losing team of the match between Thailand and Vietnam in the third-place playoff on Friday. In badminton, top shuttlers PV Sindhu, Samir Verma and B. Sai Praneeth progressed to the second round of the Australian Open. In the men's doubles, the pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty progressed to the second round. However, the duo of Ashwini Ponappa and N. Sikki Reddy lost to Korean combination of Ba Kha-na and Kim Hae-rin in the women's doubles. And now, for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to Tanvi Taneja.
Thank you, Abhishek. The government deciding to set up 2 high-level committees, one to revive growth and the other to figure out ways to create jobs, is the story that dominates headlines this morning. Government forms 2 key panels to revive growth, create jobs, leads the Hindustan Times. PM to head 2 panels on economy, jobs, says the Economic Times. Referring to the bill that proposes hefty penalties for various offences pertaining to the road transport sector, the Pioneer writes, stringent motor bill set to be introduced in this House session. India opening its Cricket World Cup campaign with a win against South Africa at the Hampshire Bowl in Southampton is covered with reports and photographs in the front pages of most of the dailies. India starts off with emphatic win over South Africa, says the Hindu. And finally, some news for the health conscious. Well, the Times of India reports that drinking unsalted tomato juice may lower blood pressure and cholesterol. And with that, it's back to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Tanvi. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government reconstitutes 8 cabinet committees, including those on security and economic affairs. Centre urges Delhi, Odisha, Telangana and West Bengal governments to join Ayushman Bharat scheme. RBI to announce its second bi-monthly monetary policy for current fiscal year today. Heatwave intensifies in several parts of the country after a brief respite. And in ICC Cricket World Cup, India beat South Africa by 6 wickets in the opening match at Southampton. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.nic.in. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.